Well, hello, everybody. I'm Willem,
I'm Tim.
and this is Hear Me Out Pitch. Oh, well, it's a Wednesday, and it was kind of warm. Global warming, kind of a weird thing, but oh well. But it probably means it's gonna just snow. I know it's probably gonna snow this weekend, but still,
Probably.
I saw people out on the balconies just chilling in shorts. I was like, oh, good gravy.
It nearly hit the 60s
It
today.
did. I was
It
like,
was the high today.
was 59?
No, the high today was 62.
Ew.
It hit 62 today. Wow, okay.
Yeah, it felt pretty good getting out of my place. I'm like, maybe I'll wear shorts to work tomorrow.
I'm wearing shorts right now. I have not been able to wear pants or sweats or anything the last few days because it's been warm.
I wear shorts to bed no matter what the weather is. So
Yeah.
usually I'm just chilling, big old comfy blanket. Kind of sucks though, because sometimes it gets really cold in the wintertime, and then you get out of your bed to pee or something, and you're like, oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
And then you don't have your heater on, and all of a sudden your whole room's cold, and you're like, I don't want to go to work, and it's terrible. But now lately it's just been like, oh, just whatever. So, but usually whenever it hits like this in January and February, we all know what's going to happen next in a couple days. So, get ready for that. So, I remember one time my senior year, it hit like 60, and we all were like, ooh, we wore shorts, and it was like February, like beginning of February, and the next day it just dumped on us. And we were like, I hate it here. So, hooray for cold fronts. We'll see what happens.
I'm ready for it to be a little snowy.
I need snow.
I don't like driving in it, but I do love the snow.
It was crazy how it was warm today, but there was that wind that blew all the air out, like all the smog. Like I walked outside of work and I was like, it's pretty.
Yeah, I went grocery shopping today, and I just felt so good. It felt so nice.
It
Just
did.
being outside and walking around. And
I like a good crisp winter day though, like a day after snow, and like you're shoveling and the air is just clean. You're like,
yeah, that is one of my favorite parts of the winter. Is it's just after a nice big heavy snowstorm, the air is just so clean.
Ooh, one of my favorites. One of my favorites, and it's
Same
very
with
rare.
same with after like big rain.
Big rain.
storms and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, just that.
Oh yeah. If we get hit with a monsoon,
Oh, probably not here, but
it's not gonna happen. But I would love it.
I would love it too.
'Cause that would clean the
I
air
love when it gets
so
heavy
fast.
though, and it starts thundering, and you're like nap time, like lay down. But I think the rarest thing, and I've only seen it once or twice in my life, is sun creeping through a blizzard, and it's kind of ending the blizzard, and it's a rainbow in the blizzard, and you're just like, now that, and it's a different kind because it's all the crystals in the air. So you're like, this is weird. Yeah. This is one of the coolest things I've ever, and I wish you all could see it, but I can't
remember what it's called. There's like a specific name for it.
I just rainbow in a blizzard. It's gorgeous. Editor's note: that phenomenon is called parhelia. Thank you. I don't know, weather's just been crazy. It's been crazy. But other than that, how's everything going in your life, real quick?
It's good. Everything's going all right. Living life, loving life. Got the 3D printer. Almost all of the bugs figured out and everything. So I was able to print a few things. I got to print some D&D minis. My dad's asking me to print some more for him.
Ooh.
He wants a pack of wolves, which I think will be fun. I printed a big thing that I printed a giant.
Ooh.
That you guys fought a couple weeks ago.
Oh, the cloud giant.
Storm
wait, no.
giant.
Oh, okay.
That was the one that you guys fought a couple weeks ago.
Oh, the giant lizard thing?
No, the giant.
Oh,
giant,
her.
The one that shot lightning at you.
Yes. Wow, she was. Yeah. I need to go beef up my character some more because she was Mean. But we beat
She
her.
was mean.
And she ran away, and I'm mad she ran away.
She did run.
But it's because we got to halfway point like way faster than you wanted to.
No, you guys got there about as fast as I thought you were gonna get.
Okay.
And the teleportation thing, getting her out of there, was on purpose.
Okay, good.
But yeah,
Gizmo.
I also got to print something I've been trying to print for about a month now.
And it is
and
beautiful.
I got it to work. Well, not a month. No, it's been a month.
Yeah, no.
Since I got the
end of December, right?
Yeah, since
Holy
I got the
crap!
printer.
Tomorrow's February.
It is February.
Oh, good gravy.
My birthday's in 2 weeks.
Oh,
2.5 weeks.
we need to talk about if we're going to record on Valentine's Day.
I'd be down.
Okay.
Find a Valentine's movie or something. But this thing that I've been trying to print for the last month, I finally got it to work. I had to glue the pieces together. I had to reprint one of the pieces, but it works. It looks good. I'm staring at it right now.
My computer's blocking it. There it is.
Between me and Willem right now. It's a lightsaber. Because we're talking about Star Wars again.
Again. Part 2
Yeah.
of, what was it, Shadows of the Force?
Shadows of the Force.
Okay, good. I was scared. I got the title right,
Yeah,
right?
you
In the
got
podcast. I was like,
Yeah.
did I say it wrong? I'd have sucked.
No, you got it.
Oh.
So that's, yeah, I got to print a lightsaber. Again, I've been in this huge Star Wars mood the last several weeks, last month or so.
I asked you, and you said that Star Wars like goes above Lord of the Rings for you, right? Because I asked you if you could only have
if I could
Star
only have
Wars,
one or the other, I would take Star Wars.
or how about this? If you could rewatch, and when I say the 3 movies, you either get to rewatch Lord of the Rings, and you can get to say the theatrical release, or you get to rewatch the original trilogy of Star Wars for the first time, and you get to refresh your memory and watch it all over again.
First time.
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
You only get one. And I'll even throw in Rogue One for Star Wars, just for craps and giggles, because I feel like that would kind of be cool to do that and then watch the original trilogy.
I think I have to go with Lord of the Rings on that one.
Okay. But it's and I said theatrical. I didn't say extended.
You did say theatrical. Extended would have been a
no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Well, no, duh. So you either get the theatrical or you get Rogue One and the original trilogy.
Do I get to watch them again ever?
Of course, but
Okay,
I'm just saying you get
relive
you get
watching
to
it for the
relive
first time.
watching it the first time.
Okay. Then I'm changing my answer to Star Wars.
Okay. Like after you watch it, all the memories will flood back to you. But in that moment, you get to go, this is one of the best. Like I get to sit you down and I put a little cap on your head and you forget everything Star Wars. Like everything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what a lightsaber is. And then I start you with Rogue One.
Yeah, no, I don't do Rogue One.
No,
just 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6.
Just
I was
4,
about to
5,
say,
and
I'm like,
6.
you know what, that might be good.
Rogue One doesn't quite fit.
Really?
It
Do
doesn't
you agree
fit.
with my dad that it
I
should
like-
get rid of the Darth Vader scene at the end?
I like Rogue One. No,
You love the Darth Vader scene?
I love
Okay,
it.
my dad's like, nope, get rid of it.
I thought it was awesome.
It was
And
awesome.
There's the one guy, the one rebel. He pound on the door and he literally just craps his pants as Darth Vader walks in the room. And
My dad just said the lightsaber goes off and then it cuts away. And we all are left to know what happened.
okay,
Because that's what he wanted.
that could have worked too.
And then it shows them flying off. And then it shows, because he says how he wanted to end was their ship was just the beginning of A New Hope. Was their ship flying over, was the rebel ship flying over the camera, and then Darth Vader's ship's chasing him. And that's how the movie ended. So you could run home and pop in A New Hope, and it's right where you left off.
Yeah, well, and that's supposed to be how it is, but
it's
not exactly.
It's not exactly. But he's like, but it was cool to show Darth Vader. But what bugs him is that how they did the fighting and the first 3 movies versus the rest. It kind of just but he really doesn't go that fast in the chamber. He's just all alone with a bunch of rebels, and he's slow and controlled.
I mean, that's how Darth Vader fights. He's slow and controlled.
Well, he's
slow
always
and
in pain.
powerful.
Oh yeah.
He is more machine than man, as the wonderful Alec Guinness said.
I hated fighting him as Siri.
Huh?
I hated fighting him as Seer. Because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna win.
I loved the fight itself. I hated the implication from the beginning of the fight. I knew it was gonna happen.
I know
but it was a good fight.
You need to be reminded that the face of Star Wars, no matter what, for many people on this planet, is going to be Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
If I show you Darth Vader's face, most people will recognize him for being Star Wars.
I've said it before. The story of Star Wars, the original trilogy plus the prequels, is about Anakin Skywalker. It's about Darth Vader. And that's why he's the face of Star Wars. He is the most recognizable villain, I think, ever. In the whole world.
I really would say, him and Spider-Man are like, I think it seriously goes...
I'd say Spider-Man's the most, the most iconic superhero, and Darth Vader is the number 1 villain. Everybody can recognize those 2 characters.
Yeah, if you were to say which are the top 2, some people might argue Superman, but no, Spider-Man is...
I think...
I don't know, it's...
10 years ago, I think it would have been Superman. But recently, I would say Spider-Man.
Well, even before... No, dude, I always, my whole life, even before Tobey Maguire, well, I guess my life kind of was around. Anyway, I think we've said this many times, the 3 most recognizable figures that are not like religious or political or in stories, but 3 fictional characters that have become like iconic throughout human civilization are Darth Vader, Superman, and Spider-Man. There are definitely a bunch thereafter, but those are like the 3 that
I'd put probably Batman in the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
but I think those top 3.
Those top 3, you could argue with.
Yeah.
I could even say that Barbie's somewhere in that, especially after this year. But even before then, Barbie was just that iconic little blonde woman. Oh, she's not little, she's a tall woman, but you know what I mean. Just Barbie smiling and waving. Most people go Barbie. So I think there's just so many iconic. It's just cool to see these characters become icons. And speaking of characters being iconic, time for Tim to finish his sequel of his iconic freaking story. Because I've been kind of waiting for it, because you kind of left me off on a mood. I've been wondering what Finn has been doing, because honestly, I think this version of Finn is going to be my favorite, because we're actually seeing a true Padawan of Luke. Okay.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about it. I went over it a couple times again today because I had some time, and I went through it, and I was like, I'm gonna change this and this. And there wasn't much that I changed, though. There was a couple things, but nothing crazy. I'm not redacting anything.
Redacting your face. Sorry.
But no. So if you haven't listened to my part 1, you have to go back and listen to it
right now.
Right now, before I continue with part 2. And welcome back.
Hello. I get teased for saying hello like that at work.
That's fine. It's iconic.
It's like
Talking of icons.
Oh, thanks.
That's iconic.
But I walked up to a random thing, and we'll get right to it. But I went and I was ordering food, and the girl behind the counter, they're like, "Dude, she's kind of cute, but why do you walk up and say hello to people like that? You sound like a cartoon. You sound like some like New Yorker, like old like John Mulaney type person. Hello, everybody." And I'm like, "Well, I don't always talk like that. I don't know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Whatever." So it's fine. Whatever. Thank you all for letting me rant. I'll probably edit this out. Whatever.
I think it'd be really funny to hear you and John Mulaney have a conversation.
It can get weirder.
That would be hilarious.
I would love to be like, so tell me about your problems. I'm just kidding. You need to watch his latest special.
I watch his stuff.
We won't talk about it because this is a child-friendly podcast, but
he's funny.
He is funny.
Okay. He also has a good story.
He does. Redemption is good. I love a good redemption story, and I believe in people being better.
Somewhat similar to Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
which kind of connects, makes him a bit bigger in my eyes.
Aw.
But, you know what? Maybe John Mulaney can have a part in my movie. That would be cool.
You know what? No, I can't. You know what? I'll think about what kind of movie he'd go in, but I won't say it until later. But I'll think about that because I don't know if he'll fit Star Wars.
I think he could. Depending
honestly,
on the character.
You know what?
Plays,
in our in that one thing we were thinking,
I think he'd fit very well as a droid, as like a C-3PO type of droid. Be very sarcastic and
they go to a pub and it's like, how can I help you? And they're like, we're looking for information. Well, if you're looking for information, you don't want to get anything from me. I'm just a droid. They hand him money. No, other way. Like, why does a droid need money? Don't worry about it. And you're like, I could put that comedy relief. That'd be hilarious. Why does a droid need money? He just does. It makes me feel better to have it. And you're just like, okay.
That would be awesome.
And I know I made John Mulaney sound like a old King Candy like type clown, but whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what he sounds like to me.
I mean, sometimes.
Sorry. All right, Tim.
Cool.
I'm gonna just be quiet for like 10 minutes.
Let's get into it then. So when I left off, I was talking about how Kylo Ren and Sek, the Uzun leader, were both going to different planets, and so Luke and Leia split into two teams to go and hunt these two people down.
Oh boy.
So we're gonna start with we're gonna start with the Millennium Falcon, cruising through space, and we'll have I want to have a really good conversation between Han and Rey.
Oh.
I want Leia and Chewie to be piloting, because I feel like at this point Leia knows how to pilot the Falcon. And I want Han to sit down with Rey and maybe play some Holo Tactics or something. That game that Chewbacca played against R2, and R2 kicked his butt. And Han said, "Don't make a Wookiee mad." Yeah. Anyway, I think it could be fun. Maybe they're going through, and while they're playing, their conversation can mimic kind of what's going on in this Holo Tactics game. And it can I want this interaction to be mostly just Han asking Rey what it's like to be Leia's Padawan, and what it's like to be in war at her age, right? Because at this point Han is like 50, 60-ish, right?
Yeah.
And Rey is a really young adult.
I'm still imagining Daisy. Is that
Daisy
her name?
Ridley.
Yes, Daisy
I'm
Ridley.
yeah. I'm imagining Daisy Ridley. I mean, she does appear a little bit younger than she is.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I want this conversation to happen, and I want, um, as Han is asking more and more difficult questions, how do you fight the darkness, kind of thing, and Ray's side of holotactics is getting beat, and then she's like, I focus on what's important to me, blah blah blah. The kind of the cheesy stuff. And then I want Han to be like, okay, but really, what gets you going? What makes you a Jedi? Because that's I feel like that's kind of the questions Han would ask. What makes you a Jedi? What makes you different from anyone else? Why did Leia choose you over anybody else?
Well, that answer she could just reluctantly be like, well, because Luke found me and blah blah
Mhm.
blah, and maybe he just didn't like me, so now I have him stuck with his sister, and he's just like, whoa whoa whoa, that's my wife, or something like that.
I'm not. I don't know. I don't think I don't want Ray to be.
You don't want her to be this. Well, I feel like you know what I mean, though. She'd be
Yeah,
that blunt, like,
I think
why
it.
did Leia choose you? Well, she didn't. Luke found me, and
Mhm.
you know, and she's like, I'm just, and Leia decided to. I don't know. I just feel like I know what you're saying at this point.
Yeah,
This is like maybe it's implied that Leia's been having trouble reaching Rey because she kind of comes from a totally different background than
yeah,
Leia.
she does.
Leia was a princess. Leia grew up
As a senator.
as a senator. And
Mhm.
honestly, Luke and Han probably relate to Rey way more. Maybe that's why she's a similar archetype in the original movie. It's kind of crazy. But I
Yeah.
think I think the idea of Han Solo sitting down and
Mhm.
like maybe she's being too aggressive while playing the game, or she's going around and he's like calling out all her flaws, and he could even, like you said, they're like he divides his pieces to go two separate ways, and how is she going to handle it,
Mhm.
and just kind of foreshadowing for the movie or something like that. But I feel like this is cool to
Yeah.
have the. I never watched the Solo movie. You'd have to tell me how it is, but to see who I'm assuming is a street urchin thug turn
Yeah.
general, married
Hero.
hero, who's one
Hero
of the
of the
best
of the
shots
galaxy.
in the galaxy, who makes
Mhm.
Jedi's kind of hate when they're like, "Oh, Han Solo isn't good." I'm like, I really wonder what Han Solo's like with a rifle.
Imagine Han Solo as a bounty hunter.
Yeah,
You know how scary that would be? You know how terrifying it would be if Han Solo was a bounty hunter and you see the Millennium Falcon fly into your town? You're like, oh
and
crap.
he's got Mandalorian armor. So
Ooh.
the what if Star Wars
Uh-huh.
stories that they might be doing. What if Han Solo was adopted by Mandalore?
That would be
Do do do
terrifying.
do. Oh, I can't make that. We can't do any noises here. I'll delete that. But that'd
Mhm.
be really cool just to see. I would see
Yeah.
his suit, his armor's just brown, and it still looks like the vest.
I'm imagining no, he's wearing the suit over the armor.
Oh.
Maybe just the jacket. Just
Maybe just the
maybe just
jacket.
the jacket.
Or it's like an armored version of the jacket, just something funny. You
Maybe.
know how they do that in the show.
Yeah.
But the point being is, I really like this scene of it being her. Yeah, I like him asking, like, what, like, he just kind of sits in. So I'm not a Jedi, I'm not, I don't really care about your magic stuff. Even been married to one brother-in-law or whatever. One of my best friends is one of these space wizards. I've seen it in action, but why are you so special? Why?
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like he would ask that, and you got to imagine more gruffer because it's Harrison Ford. Like, why are you so special? Like I could totally see
Yeah.
this scene, just staring her in the eye. Harrison Ford giving you that
Mhm.
death glare, smug little, that stupid half
Uh-huh.
smile he does.
Uh-huh.
Like, hmm,
His little smirk.
like, so why are you? And he like beats her at the game, and he looks up. You're not that special, kid. And she's like, what? Like, you're not. Look at Leia. Look at Luke. they're really not that special, but they have accomplished great things and become special. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that's actually exactly where I was going with it.
Yay, cool.
I was gonna
'Cause that's
have
exactly what I would think Han would do.
yeah.
Instead of,
wanted
dying.
I wanted Han to point out, the something to the effect of he's pointing out her flaws, and he basically says, you follow too much, you copy what you see too much. You need to figure out your own path, or you're gonna get your butt kicked. And then Han is gonna beat her because he's been baiting her, and like
That would be better.
While they've been playing, she's essentially seeing what he does, and she's trying to mimic it, and it doesn't work. It fails.
She's not being a leader, she's being a follower.
Yeah.
She's not trying to
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to meet them at the line that she's imagined they've drawn for her, even though what they really want, as any teacher wants, is for them to vault over
above and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
And I think that Han beating her and pointing out, you need to strike out on your own. You need to do your own thing. You need to stop trying to be my wife. You need to start being yourself.
I get what you're saying, but it sounded silly when you said it. But I
didn't mean
it's fine. I'm sorry for chuckling.
My own wife.
But I know it's like,
yeah.
no. But just because I imagined her for a second, and I imagined just, yeah, I just imagined her crocheting for a second. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Ray just crocheting. Look what I made, and it's a Jabba. I don't know. That would be pretty cool. There's an idea. But I think that I like this. I like this a lot. I think it's really sweet. And it's already setting up something for Rey. Like, you are not a follower, because she's been a scavenger. She's been going her own life, so she's just been safe. Mm-hmm. And I think Han would be one of the perfect people. And it would be cute because the whole time he's teaching her, you can see like Leia like looking back a few times, like smiling, like, yeah, I knew this was the right choice. Like, kind of like that.
I don't want Leia to have any part of the conversation at all.
No. Like, not any part.
Not even being remotely present. And the cockpit's too far away.
Oh, I was totally imagining backseat, like looking back in the mirror. So you know what I mean, though.
I know what you mean, but no, I think this needs to stay 100% between Han and Rey.
Okay.
Because Rey is a Jedi Padawan, and yeah, she's been at it for 4 years now, right? She's learning, but Han has been at this most of his life, just trying to figure out his life.
He's the Sokka.
He is, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Or sorry, Sokka is him. And
yes.
I think for anyone who loves Sokka, we all know why. Because
Sokka is Han Solo. If Han Solo had a sister.
I've seen fan art.
If Han Solo had a sister and it wasn't starships, that would be Sokka. That is Sokka.
If Leia and Han were siblings instead of Luke and
yeah.
So someone did art, and it was all of them dressed up as the characters, except I think they made
I've seen that
Toph Leia, and they made Katara someone else. So
yeah, I've seen a few of those. But yeah, so that would be that interaction. It would only take 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes.
I think a good 5 minutes. I think by 10 minutes they're like rejoining the group.
Yeah. Well, I'm imagining Chewie. You hear Chewie, do his growl, and Han is like, "Well, we're here," and they get up, and Rey just kind of like, maybe I'm imagining she kind of pulls out her lightsaber, which honestly, the lightsaber that she has in Episode 9, it's different. I think it fits her. It looks like her, like what she would have. So I'm imagining that same lightsaber. And I know you haven't seen Episode 9, so yeah, just look it up. But it fits Rey as a person, I think, as her character. So I'm imagining she pulls out the lightsaber, kind of sets it on the table, and just kind of folds her arms and stares at it for a second while they land on Malnadon. Um,
Oh, wow. That's weird.
it is weird. It's different. And I think it fits
Oh.
her.
Oh, I love it.
And the ignition thing, she spins the top.
Oh,
To ignite it.
wow. No, I see the.
It's actually kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
Uh,
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh, there's an evil ray.
yeah, we don't talk about that.
Ah, okay. We don't talk about Bruno. Okay.
But yeah, so they land on Malnadon finally, and it's this arid planet that a long time ago, I can't remember if I said during the High Republic era or not. This is eons ago. This is long before the Old Republic and anything. This is where a great battle ensued between the Sith and the Jedi, and the reason that this planet is so arid and dry and dead is because it was a great disaster in the Force itself. And
Ooh.
this battle between thousands of Jedi and Sith just tore the Force apart on this planet and kind of just devoured it. And this is where they're going, and they see a crater, and there's a ship, an Uzun ship, off to the side, and they land not next to it. They land on the opposite side of the crater, and this crater is a couple miles. It's a very large crater, and inside, down at the bottom, they make their way down. Han and Chewie stay on board to make sure that they can, have a quick getaway and take care of a few things.
Yeah.
I also think that while they're trying to land, they get an incoming transmission from Poe, and so Han is like, "Hey, I'm gonna talk to Poe about this. You two go take care of this. You got this.
You do your stuff, we'll do ours."
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Rey and Leia will go down into this crater, and they'll find bones.
Ooh.
And they're so old and windswept that most of them have been worn down. I can't say worn down to the bone, because all they are is bone.
They're just shiny white.
They are super shiny white, and most of them, just at the top, they've been worn away so much that you can see the inside, the little cavity where the bone marrow sits.
Wow.
Been there for a really long time. And they'll start exploring for a bit, and they'll, they're looking for minute or so, 2 minutes on screen. In reality, it'll be like 5-10 minutes. And they'll be looking and trying to find anything. They can't find footsteps. They can't find nothing. They do find a few old kyber crystals that have faded. And Rey will pick one up and, "Master, what is this?" And Leia will say, "That's an ancient kyber crystal. It's been here for so long. It's out. It's gone out." And Rey will grab a couple and pocket them so that she can, she's still a scavenger, right? I'm imagining she takes a few and she's like, "Huh," and she puts them in a satchel or her pocket or whatever.
The only thought I have about that is I feel like she probably has known what a kyber crystal is, but I love
she knows what a kyber crystal is because it powers her lightsaber.
Yeah, so I just feel like the asking, I just imagine how I imagine it was immediately she starts scavenging, like, "Oh my gosh, kyber crystals." She goes, "There's no use to them. You can't put life back into them."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just imagine, like, when Abu is trying to,
I know,
like,
yeah.
just so I don't know. I just imagine that just made me laugh, and I just imagine Leia's like, stop it, get some help. Like, you don't need those. You're fine. You gotta stop this. I wish
Well,
we could see her like room have a bunch of trinkets. That'd be
yeah,
so funny. Like she's a hoarder. I would
I
love
would love
that.
that. It would definitely be on theme. No, I want her to grab a few and say, I'm gonna take these. We can, we can take a look at them.
That'd be cool.
And Leia will look at her and kind of raise an eyebrow and be like, and you're gonna keep one for yourself. And Ray will kind of be, look around a little sheepishly and
Yeah.
um,
Research purposes.
yeah.
And one is going in my room. Every kid has to pick up a heart-shaped rock or something. That's what I always did.
Yeah. So they'll continue to look for a moment and they'll find nothing, and so Ray will I'm imagining she sits down cross-legged and starts to meditate for a second and focusing on the Force, and she kind of, her head starts to turn, eyes closed and everything, her head starts to turn, and she opens her eyes and she's staring at a rock, at a small boulder, probably the size of your table.
Ooh. My table's ginormous. It can fit like 12 knights. Don't even think. I'm just kidding.
Not quite that big.
Sorry. So she's staring at the table-sized boulder. It's a nice boulder.
That is a nice boulder. She's staring at the boulder, and she gets up and she walks over to it, and there's markings on it. And there's some grooves in the sand off to the one side. And she's like, she calls Leia over, and they both... they use the Force.
Leia calls Ray over.
No, Ray found the...
Oh, Ray sat down.
Did I say Leia?
Yes. So okay. Who sits down and folds their legs?
Ray.
Okay.
I want Ray to sit down.
Okay, I just want to make sure. You might have said that, and I might have misheard it. Mm-hmm. If that's true, I will double take this.
I want it to be Ray, and she finds it.
So Ray sits down, calls Leia over. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
While Leia is still looking around, she'll call. Ray will call over her master and say, I found it. Point. Squirrel. She'll, say I found it. They'll use the Force, and they'll push the boulder, and it'll reveal a staircase. And this stone, by the way, is just covered in ancient markings that it's mostly just super worn down, super faded, but you can tell that most of these are man-made.
Okay.
And they'll use the Force, and they'll reveal a stairway
to heaven,
leading down into the dark. Oh. And they'll start walking down, and then we'll cut to black.
Oh.
And we'll cut to Luke flying his own ship. It's not the Millennium Falcon, because it's not. But they'll have their own ship. Luke and his team will have their own ship where, similar size ish to the Falcon. Big enough they can carry a good amount of people. And Luke will be talking to Mara Jade, who is his co-pilot, and they'll just be talking about how they need to prepare themselves and get ready to be ready for anything. And then Luke, or Finn and Ben, Finn and Ben will be talking in the back. And they'll be talking about their craziest missions and the craziest, monsters they've killed, and the coolest things they've seen. And then Finn will kind of look at Ben, and kind of his face will harden a little bit, and he'll say, "What about the dark? How do you deal with the dark? How do you deal with the darkness inside? Because I'm having a hard time figuring out what keeps me on the light side."
Oh.
Or not figuring out what keeps me on the light side, figuring out why. Like, he's not having a hard time staying on the light. but he's having a hard time figuring out what it is that draws him to the light. If that makes any sense.
So what? Well, kind of like with us in real life. Why do people stay doing good when there's so much bad? Because this version of Finn, even still, he was enslaved.
He was a stormtrooper.
He was a stormtrooper. He probably did things he wasn't proud of, and probably it just wasn't all that fun, And he probably has every right. And I don't remember, but did you ever have his eyes like change yellow because of anger in the last one? Okay.
No.
Is that a chance?
No.
Okay, good.
I almost said maybe, but no.
Maybe.
I almost said you'll have to wait and see. But
you should have.
I should have, but no.
Should have.
So Finn will ask Ben, and Ben will say it's different for everybody, but for him, it's his family and the people that he protects. The ones around him that he cares about. Those people are what keep him on the light side, and what draw him to the light side. Then they'll land on Malik Urn, which is a very dark planet. Very dark stones, dark stone. No foliage, no life to be seen. It is constantly raining, and they can all of them kind of. I'm imagining they enter the atmosphere, and Luke kind of sits back, almost like he's pushed back against his seat, and he's like, oh. And he looks to Mara Jade, and she's like, I feel it too.
Oh, I totally forgot that they're married, or at least they're together.
They're married.
Love it. They're married.
We'll see Ben and Finn look at each other like, oh. Yeah, we can feel the dark side. That's for sure.
Gross.
And they'll land near they'll see in the distance a very large black pyramid-like structure.
Oh.
It'll be broken up into 3 sections, and in between each section is just a rim of glowing red light. And there's like a silver trim once they get close. Bright glowing red peak. The top 5 to 10% of the tower is just this glowing red stone. Glowing almost like a red lightsaber. And they'll land, and Luke they'll land, and they'll begin to walk towards it, and Luke will say, do not engage unless you need to, unless you have to. We don't want to have to fight anybody that we don't have to. And so they'll make their way inside, and it'll be a very dark hall full of statues of robed figures, very very similar to Knights of the Old Republic. If you ever played that, and they're just very large black statues, and they'll each have a lightsaber in a different pose. Some of them will have two lightsabers. Some of them will have double lightsaber.
You see Darth Maul?
No, they're all robed. You don't see faces. You don't see anything but the robes and the lightsabers. And Finn will say that, will point out, I feel the evil of this place. We need to be careful. Mara Jade will nod, and yeah, we need to be careful. And they'll continue walking, and Ben will he'll look over, and he'll see a statue that has a lightsaber very similar to his, where it's got the cross guard.
Oh wow!
He'll walk over to it, and he'll look up at the statue, kind of with like an inquisitive face, and then not Inquisitor face, with an inquisitive with an inquisitive look, and then he'll hear a lightsaber ignite, and he'll draw his own, and when he ignites it, it's his lightsaber. He'll ignite it, and it's a blue blade. He'll ignite it, and he'll stop an incoming another blue lightsaber blade. He'll stop it and push the Uz-Un that had jumped out at him back. And he will, Luke will jump in and fight the Uz-Un with him as Finn jumps in and helps Ben, while Luke and Mara Jade have to face their own. Another one jumps out, and then you see 5 or 6 more come out of the shadows.
Oh crap! Do they all have lightsabers?
Every single one of them draws a lightsaber. Different. Most of them are blue. There's a couple greens.
No reds.
No reds.
Dang.
Remember, these are all lightsabers that Kylo Ren, as an Inquisitor, took off of the bodies of the dead Jedi that he had killed.
Jeez.
And
they're not bad with these, right?
No, they know how to use them. They've been trained. So they'll fight, and the fight will go on for a moment, and then they'll defeat the Uz-Un. They'll cut them down, and they'll each take the lightsabers. They'll put them on their belts. Ben will hand Luke 2, as he has his own, and he doesn't have another clip or anything. He has no way to carry more lightsabers than his own.
Mm-hmm.
So he hands them to Luke. Luke stuffs them in a bag. Mara Jade also has a little satchel that she'll stick a couple into, and Finn will have a bag as well.
Because those lightsabers shouldn't stay there.
No. And these are the lightsabers from Fallen Jedi, and they could be used again by Jedi. So they'll start walking again toward the center of this pyramid, where they will see another smaller pyramid of black stone with red rimming, red trimming, and they'll walk toward it, and then we will see another couple Uz-Un jump out and fight and begin to fight them, and then we'll pan to Leia and Rey fighting a couple Uz-Un on their own, and
so they're only using lightsabers. None of them have like a blaster or
just
anything.
lightsabers.
Okay.
And they'll pan to Leia and Rey fighting the Uz-Un, and it'll just pan back and forth between the two teams. I'm imagining before that we pan back to Leia and Rey, and they're walking down this dark tunnel and come to an open room where there's a few Uz-Un standing there as sentinel with lightsabers drawn. And then we'll flip back and forth between the two parties, between the two teams, and as they defeat the Uz-Un again, we'll cut back to Luke, or cut back to Rey and Leia. And
so insert epic battle for 10 minutes here. 5 to 10 minutes here.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Going back and forth, flashes of blue, flashes of green, a lot of hissing, a lot of snakes. I imagine at one point, the Pirates of the Caribbean scene where they're clashing swords, and one pirate who's like a snake thing puts his head over the cross, and I was imagining stuff like that. I'm like, this is pretty cool. So, because they're like giant snakes with robotic limbs, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, flat faces. They
flat
don't
face.
Have
they don't have a snout, but flat faces, but
Yeah.
probably could still bite you pretty good.
Yeah. So we'll pan to Leia and Rey, and they will both together, they'll behead one Uz-Un that they're fighting, and this guy has 2 lightsabers. And they'll take the lightsabers and they'll push deeper into the cave, and they'll come to another.
It's like over 20 plus lightsabers, Tim.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just like sitting here like you realize what you're trying to tell the audience here. Like they've
I
just been
a lot of
merciless.
a lot of these lightsabers have either come from the new Jedi Order that Luke has begun, um, or
The Fallen Order.
or the fallen um, Republic. Well, Kylo Ren was an Inquisitor.
So some of these lightsabers look old.
Some of them do look old.
Some of them are older than Luke, and he's just like, dang.
Yeah,
That's sad.
yeah, yeah. So they'll come into another small or another large room, and they'll see a very similar site where there's kind of a pyramid. This one's just made of stone, and they'll see it, and they'll see Sec standing on top. And one of the defining features that sets Sec apart from the others of his species is his tail is never just out; it's always wrapped around him like a belt.
And he has forearms, right? Or they all have
all
forearms?
of them have forearms.
Okay.
Every single one has forearms. But they'll see Sec standing on top of this pyramid-like structure. It's got a flat top to it, so it's more like a ziggurat than a true pyramid. But he'll be standing on top of it, and they'll start sneaking towards him, darting between shadows and stuff, and he'll call out and say, "I know you're there. You don't have to play in the shadows." And they'll stop, they'll come out into the middle and they'll start to approach, and he will begin to say, he'll begin to talk about Kylo Ren's plan, and Ren's plan cannot fail. It will not fail. That the rift will be opened the rest of the way to allow his entire species to enter the galaxy. Leia will ask about the rift, and Sec will say that only a fraction of the army was able to pass through it before the rift snapped closed. Rey will turn to Leia and say, "We can't let them." And Sec will disagree and say, "Nope."
Wait, only a fraction?
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah. Sec will say, I think my people should be I think my people should be allowed to rule this galaxy. It would be a stronger galaxy under stronger rule.
I like these Star Wars meet Dalek type villains.
Yeah,
I really like them. They're just emotionless, kind of,
Yeah,
you would make a good Dalek. Like, I love it. Just
Yeah.
kind of like, we would rule this guy. I love that idea. Just because he could totally tease them, like, we're just fine here. And it's like, are you? You keep going back and forth between good and evil. Like, I could see that a logical, like, if these are more like, not logical creatures, but more like direct, blunt creatures, kind of like Daleks, they would really see like constant struggle back and forth, never being exactly. We would be the ultimate, we would bring down the hammer and we would bring about the best way. I like it.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It would be.
I didn't mean. I just imagine like the conversation, and I haven't seen a lot of Doctor Who, and everyone's probably going, "Oh my God, really?" I'm like, yeah, really. But just what I've seen of the Daleks and kind of morphing them with this, and even the Borg from Star Trek, it is just they don't like. They think they could do it better, and honestly, by what we've seen in the past movies, it's always been back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And why wouldn't anyone look at that on the outside and go, this is dumb, but history tends to repeat itself. Everyone always thinks they could do better.
Always. Sec will say, my people would rule this galaxy far better than your people. He will pull out a blue double-sided lightsaber, which we haven't seen wielded by Anu Zun yet. they will begin to fight, and you know he'll jump down um and meet Leia and Rey at on the bottom of the steps up to this top of the pyramid, and they'll fight, and it'll be a very similar fight, very very intense, very quick paced, just like the Duel of the Fates in Episode 1.
Hmm.
And
I didn't even realize that little callback. That's awesome. But
it'll
it's a
be
blue lightsaber.
it is a blue lightsaber, which matches the other two blue lightsabers that are no. Rey's lightsaber would be I can't remember if I said it was blue or not. They're all blue for now. I might retcon that later, but
Okay, no worries.
They're all blue for now, and they'll have the fight, and then Sek will pull out while they're fighting. He'll with one of his arms, he'll pull out another one of those thin long metal rods, or those 6-inch little metal rods.
Okay.
And he'll say, while they're fighting, he's not putting in all of his effort, and he'll say, "My master only needs to get one more of these, and his plan will be complete. And there's nothing you can do to stop it." And he'll pocket it, and then he will, or no, he won't pocket it. He will take it, and he will stick it into his chest. He'll take it and he'll stick it into there'll be a little slot in his chest where he can stick it into, that just runs up and down on his sternum.
Okay.
And I'll stick it in there, and it'll kind of vibrate a bit, and he'll kind of shudder a little bit, and then he'll hold out his hand, and then he'll use force push.
Oh my gosh. He just upgraded himself.
He just upgraded himself. He will use force push and push both of them back, and both Leia and Rey will look at each other in shock and disbelief and horror, and then they'll turn back and they'll see Sek, and he's just walking away.
I feel like I just need to see like the awesomeness that Leia is. I feel like I feel like one arm needs to go, or at least two.
Maybe we see.
I feel like maybe he's like toying with Rey and like kicks her away, and she gets one-on-one with Leia. Leia could disarm, like, because she's trained with Luke, and she is the daughter of Anakin Skywalker.
That's true.
She's got the sky. So I just imagine like he's kind of laughing because he's probably killed a lot of Jedi, but he hasn't met a Skywalker yet. Yeah. And I just imagine that she would like give him time, and he finally starts breathing heavy, like he's never done it. He's in shock. And then that's when I think it would be cool and that might be cheesy, might be like well done, but I really think the idea of him going like doesn't even say a word, just puts it in. Because maybe Rey's been trying to force push, they've been trying to do stuff, and he laughs at him, but now he just looks at them and goes and they just both, because that would be so mean, Tim. You're telling me they can't push them like it's an effort.
Yeah. Like
maybe Leia pushes him like just like a little bit. Like Rey would be like this far.
I'm imagining Sek is actually. I'll get to that bit.
Okay, sorry.
I'll get to that.
Sorry, unless they're still fighting some more. My bad. I'm sorry. I just imagined kind of a intense, like no words spoken. He just pulls it out, and everyone in the audience is going, "What's going on?" And just that would be so crazy. I'd pee my pants. I'd be like, "What?
Yeah.
Excuse me? What just happened?"
But the push will happen, and they'll look at each other and in shock and disbelief look back at him, and he's walking back up to the top of the pyramid, or walking back towards the pyramid, and then we'll cut to Luke and his group, and Luke and they'll be walking up the pyramid, and they'll make it to the top of the pyramid, and they'll see Kylo Ren standing there and he'll be facing away from them, but we'll see, camera angles and stuff. He'll be holding that metal rod, that 6-inch metal rod, and he'll then start talking and talk about how he'll start talking about the Force, and it'll be very similar to what we heard at the beginning of the movie when Luke and Cal Kestis are talking to the younglings about the Force, and then they end up talking about attachment.
A cruel irony of a speech.
Yeah,
just almost word for word.
Yeah,
like what Luke says.
Ren will be talking about the Force and how it can be utilized to do just about anything. It can be harnessed in any way imaginable if you're strong enough.
Oh, and I imagine just the because maybe this is something that all Padawans learned. Like this is we're trying to imply that this is how the first lesson goes, or at least a lesson. And he's like,
well, I don't want it to be sarcasm because this is his villain speech.
Well, not even like it doesn't need to be reversed. It doesn't need to be sarcasm, but it's like the empowerment of making a point.
Ironic,
like
is what it is.
Not sarcasm, but and he knows darn well what he's saying. The irony.
Yeah.
Like he's just like the Force can be used for just like I am here. And you're down there. Let me teach you something. Like I can hear it.
Yeah.
Not sarcasm. No. But the irony is not lost. I love it.
So he'll talk about how he'll talk about how Force can be used in any way if you're strong enough, and Luke will counter by saying that all you have to do is be attuned to the Force and be willing to be attuned to the Force. And Ren will say that if one is powerful enough, you can change the will of the Force itself to match your own. And then he holds up the rod, and Ben will pipe up and say and ask what it is, and Ren will respond by pocketing it. He won't say anything. He'll pocket it and he'll draw his own lightsaber, and then he'll speak and he'll say, "It is my ascension."
Okay.
And then he'll use Force push, and Ben will look and he'll see this coming, and he'll dodge. He'll kind of dodge out of the way and use the Force to kind of cushion himself, as Kylo Ren uses a very powerful Force push. And as he uses this powerful Force push, in his arm, you can see another one of these rods.
Are you doing hemalurgy?
Okay, so here's the thing. I mentioned it last episode. Here's the thing.
You didn't realize you were doing something?
I didn't realize I was doing it until I did it.
And know it. I'm not going to say any more about it. I think it's awesome. But I love it.
If you know,
you know. And guess what? It's a happy coincidence. And it will, you know what? And if it takes inspiration from it, I don't think he'd be mad at you for that.
I don't think he would be.
I think he'd go, ho, 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 ho.
But no, I'm not trying to rip off Mistborn.
But the thing is, there's so many. The thing is, he says that he's taken so many inspiration from so many different cultures. Yeah. It is something. The idea of drawing power from something in your body is old as time. So the idea that
we see it everywhere. Think of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Right. That's another really good example. But
yeah, so many things even like a health pack in a video game. Blah, you just there's so many things. Upgrading, it's
upgrades, people.
Upgrades. Okay, Robots is a good movie.
That's a good movie.
But that is kind of, I like that. I like that there's no words said. I kind of like the implication of it's cool, and I'm not mad at you one bit. I actually like it a lot.
Good.
The idea that someone made something to mimic the Force, or at least to entrust people it.
I mean, I said it earlier, last episode, but these artifacts are called Force inhibitors, which means they inhibit the use of the Force. They allow the use of the Force.
Did people have to die to make them?
You'll just have to wait and find out.
Oh, well, now you're being funny. All right.
Uh-huh.
So he pushes and it's just
He uses
ginormous.
force push, and it is a very heavy push. Like it's heavy enough that it throws Luke off the edge, and Ben is kind of standing a little bit off to the side, and he's braced himself and he stops it. So Luke, Finn, and Mara Jade are thrown off the pyramid, and as they get up, they are surrounded by more Uzun soldiers.
And poor Ben is all by himself on top.
Ben Solo is on top by himself.
So we're getting what we wanted.
We are getting
Ben versus
Ben versus Kylo Ren.
Good. Oh, this is so satisfying.
Yeah. So we'll have Ben will stand alone against Kylo Ren. He'll draw his own lightsaber, and ignite it. And
double-sided circular one, right? For Kylo.
Yes, Kylo Ren has his Inquisitor lightsaber.
I really like
double-bladed,
those.
the circle crossguard thingy. Yeah.
Really awesome.
Yeah. We don't see those in use as much, so I would like to see it in use more, if that makes sense.
They've been implying them a lot, and I think it's okay. And I think they've been around for a fat minute. So
yeah, I mean, I loved fighting the Inquisitors in Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor because of those lightsabers. It was a fun, cool fight.
I don't. If he doesn't die in this one, I don't know how this ends.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to say I would like to see him break away from being an Inquisitor because I think he'll think he's above that. Do you think he'll make his own, or we'll just have to see?
We'll
just have to wait and see.
Because
that's the one thing that's kind of irking me is if he's gone so far to be above Inquisitor, why is he still? It's funny. It's ironic that we talked about attachment, and maybe you're gonna bring that up.
It's not going to be explicitly stated, but that is kind of an underlying theme.
Okay. Ironic.
Yeah. So we'll have we'll cut back to Rey and Leia, and they'll be fighting Sec again, and they will have to deal with him using the Force. And Sec is brand new to harnessing the power of the Force. He doesn't know exactly what he's doing, so his Force pushes are kind of sloppy. And I'm imagining, one moment where he uses Force push on Rey, and she kind of grabs a stone column and uses that as leverage to kind of swing her around it to avoid the push.
He's so focused on the power of the Force that he's not really bringing his A game now.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be cool? You can say yes or no, but do you think it'd be funny to see him try to use the Force push, like a strong one, on Leia, and one of the arms breaks because it doesn't adjust to the Force?
I was actually thinking that could be fun.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking that the arm itself would break, but I was imagining like he uses it and the arm just flies back and like dislocates, and then it kind of sparks and like
so it just doesn't work because Leia's going, "Quick, I can play this game," and just that'd be so funny. Just one of the little ones on his like the bottom too, and just falls down. He goes, "Huh, I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah. So they'll continue to fight, and then he will grab the lightsaber with two hands, and he will break it apart. He'll break it into two lightsabers as both Rey and Leia are fighting him, and he'll break it apart.
Is he like breaking?
No, it'll come apart like Cal Kestis.
Okay, I just imagine he just.
No, he holds it and he'll twist it and pull it to push his way between the two. Like he'll use the two lightsabers now as leverage to get on the other side of the two Jedi, and he'll turn around and he'll continue to fight. Now with one lightsaber held normal and the other held in reverse grip.
Love it.
And he's just fighting, and they're going, and they're fighting faster and faster now. and we're missing. We're gonna miss a lot of the fight just because it's going so fast. And he'll use the force and push both of them away, and then he'll start running as they both, they take off one of the other arms, and I'm he starts to run, and Leia hucks her lightsaber. She just yeets it at him, and it goes and it spins and it cuts his tail off. As Sek is running away, he misses deflecting the lightsaber, and it cuts his tail clean off.
And it's still wrapped around.
No. At this point, it is unraveled.
Okay.
And it's out because I'm imagining during the fight, he's using the tail to smack them both.
He makes it like he'll whip around really quick. He'll make sure that it's not, because he probably knows how to use it in a sword fight and not get it copped off. Because if he wasn't careful, if he swung it, they would just stick their hand out. It'd be cool if it was like surrounded by certain metal that is not like
almost like Beskar, where it's force resistant.
That'd be cool. Like it has a claw on the end or something, and when it folds up, it like turns into plate in the front. But when he unfolds it, that'd be cool.
That would be,
because that would make more sense of how. Because it's like if he really does use the tail to whip out, all one of them needs to do is go hee and just take it off like little pieces of butter. Yeah. Anyway, so they cut his tail off.
Leia. So here's the image going through my mind. Sek is running, and
Leia on all fours, or two,
just his regular 2 legs.
Okay.
And Leia throws the lightsaber, and Sek turns just a little too slow, and he's about to block the lightsaber when Rey uses the force and kind of pulls him down to the ground,
like wobbles a bit.
Yeah, pulls him off centered, and his lightsaber barely misses Leia's lightsaber, and her lightsaber cuts his arm, not off, but it cuts his arm like just barely, and cuts clean through his tail. And then he stumbles and falls, and screams, and then gets up and he turns and uses force push on them again.
But again, he doesn't really know what he's doing.
No, but he uses force push, a strong enough push that it does push both Leia and Rey back. And then he runs again. He continues to go down the hall. And by the time Leia and Rey, like they'll make their way out, they'll start chasing him, and by the time they get out, they see his ship starting to take off. And they'll have to race to the ship, race to the Falcon, and Han will be in the middle of a conversation with Poe and someone else, and Leia will cut him off and say, we have to chase him. And they look, and Han looks out the cockpit window as Sek's ship hits light speed and is gone. And Leia looks at Rey, and then they both kind of hang their heads just a little bit as they realize that they've just failed.
They kind of lost.
They just lost. And then we'll cut back to Luke. Or not Luke, we'll cut back to... we'll cut back... Well, yeah, we will cut back to Luke. We'll cut back to Luke, and he will...
Who's probably just looking up at his poor nephew alone. He's like...
No, he's fighting a new Zune with a lightsaber.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, he's fighting, but he's like constantly looking...
They can't see it.
Can't see it?
It's almost like... Did you ever watch Clone Wars?
No.
No? Okay. There's a scene in there that's...
So it's just far enough. There's too many of them for him to look.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a steeper pyramid, so you can't like see the top.
So he just knows the direction of where he's at. He's like, I just imagine just a worried uncle, because if he dies, he's got to answer to Leia and Han.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
And he probably loves this boy like his own.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Skywalker in a way.
He is essentially a Skywalker.
He is.
He's not by name.
Not by name,
but by blood, he is a Skywalker.
I bet it would be really cool if he had. I thought Adam Driver was a good pick. I think looking at him, he's like, yeah, 2 generations. He definitely would be a Skywalker dude. And I'm sad that he wasn't happy with how Star Wars treated him, or at least his character.
Yeah.
So this right here, though, this is going to be fun.
Adam Driver would have it. But yeah, so Luke will kill another Uzoon, and Mara Jade will kind of do like a flip over top of him to take out another one.
Is her lightsaber purple? I've been imagining purple this whole time.
Really?
Oh my gosh!
Okay, think about it this way. Mara Jade
she
used
to be a
Sith. Not a Sith, but she was kind of a Sith.
She was on the bad side.
Yeah. So she understands that the dark power of the dark side of the Force, but she also understands the light and the balance needed. So her lightsaber is purple.
Okay.
And it's purple in stories as well.
That's
so
cool.
I'm not just
it just fit in my head. I'm like, because I just imagine her with red hair and a purple. Maybe I've seen a picture of her. I think I've probably looked up a few and it was purple. But
she has a purple lightsaber.
Does that mean she can do lightning?
No.
Oh,
maybe.
That's not something unless you're truly embracing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine.
That is a dark side.
That's crossing a line. It's an unforgivable curse type thing. Once you've gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so they're just trying to not lose. They're trying not to die, as well as he's left alone with a steel Inquisitor.
Yeah, basically. So they'll be fighting, and we'll see Finn, and he's
a Beskar Inquisitor.
Finn is standing there, and he's fighting, the Uzoon, and he's wielding the lightsaber masterfully, and he'll use the Force, and he'll be able to break through the Uzoon Force barrier.
Is he so? Because he's a little angrier, is what he's trying to say. Bit. Like, because I imagine that he's getting a little more frustrating, and his Force is just. He because you're saying he's kind of getting like, God, and I imagine like a few of them, he picks one up and crushes its arms off, or it's just a little much, or no. Okay, so not like so that's not the side, because you were kind of mentioning the dark, so he's not like an angry Jedi, he's not another, oh my gosh, Samuel L. Jackson character, so he's not another. Oh my gosh, what's his name in the Mace Windu? So, because Mace Windu was supposed to be like what I've heard is his Padawans were so angry because of his teachings and his way that all of his Padawans turned into Siths. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
They turned to the dark side, yeah.
So we're not getting another Qui-Gon Jinn type character of like, I'm a,
no.
What does your wallet say?
No. So Finn is just going to be fighting, and he's naturally gifted, and so he'll be able to use the Force and be able to affect the Uzoon. It's not as powerful as it would be against a human, but
he's doing enough to
doing enough, and he's causing the Uzoon that he's fighting to stumble, and that gives him enough time to kill one and maybe cut off the arm of another, and they're fighting, and Finn will.
So Luke has skill as well as power, but Finn has Finn has natural power.
Finn has natural ability without as much training.
Okay.
And he's definitely not on the same. He will never be on the same power level as Luke.
Okay.
Because Luke is the
but we're saying
child
for
of the chosen one.
But we're saying for where he's at.
Where he's at, he's
up there.
He just doesn't have the skill.
So his strength level is set pretty high for his level.
That's his
Force level.
That is a good way to put it.
Okay.
It's almost like
this is a D&D loving podcast, and you will all deal with it.
It's almost like in Jedi Survivor, right? Imagine if he started out with 15 skill points.
Good heavens!
At the beginning,
and wasted it all on Force.
And they wasted a bunch of it on the Force. Yeah. Like that's
Did you ever do anything like that in a game? You just go max out one skill all the way at the very beginning. Okay.
Yep. That was usually the health. for me in Jedi Survivor.
Oh, I am always any form of countering or dodging.
It was always the Force. I love, or always health, and then it would be like the Force push and pull, because I use those abilities the most. Yep. But yeah, so they'll be fighting, and Finn will turn to Luke and yell, "We need to get to Ben. We need to help Ben." And then we'll cut to Ben.
Oh, okay.
And Ben and Ren, will be having a very, very intense fight. And it'll be very reminiscent of Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar.
Because he is a Jedi Master at this point, right?
Jedi Knight.
Jedi
Not
Knight.
a Master. He's not a Master.
Okay, so just enough to worry Kylo, but not enough that Kylo thinks I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
the only one he's worried about is down at the bottom.
Yep.
So he's probably going, I need to kill this one before the other one gets here.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
So they'll be having a very intense lightsaber battle, and they'll both be using the terrain. They'll be taking pillars, and they'll be crushing pillars toward the other, and trying to force push them down the stairs and whatnot. And then
would you say this is big as like the? Sorry, I just trying to imagine in my head. Is this like as big as the Incan one, like the Incan and Mayan ones?
Yeah.
So it's a big boy.
It's a very big, yes.
Okay. So they're like at the top of it.
100 feet across, probably.
So they're getting, this is a good fighting ground, but it's also still underground, right?
Yes.
Good heavens, that is terrifying.
Uh-huh.
And there are things like this somewhere on this planet, and that terrifies me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They'll be having a fight, and then we'll see Kylo Ren cut up and disarm Ben, and it'll throw Ben to the side a bit, and he'll use his agility, and he'll roll and get back to his feet, but his lightsaber's gone over the edge.
Oh, so not like literally disarm.
No, his body is okay. His lightsaber has gone off.
Because it's still resistance. It knocked him out. You lost. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
So he knocked his weapon out of his hand. Thank you. I totally was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then he lost his arm?
No. And then Ben or Kylo Ren will come at him, and Ben will see a flash of metal on Kylo Ren's hip, and he'll use the force pull.
Will this one be red?
It's not red.
Okay.
A very, very, very familiar looking purple lightsaber that we saw in episodes 1, 2, and 3. This is going to be Mace Windu's lightsaber. I talked about it earlier. I can't remember if it was in my episode 1 or episode 7, or last episode, but I want Ben to have purple lightsaber.
That's right.
At least for this fight. And Kylo Ren has Mace Windu's lightsaber as like a trophy. He's like, I found this.
Because he fell and
the Emperor couldn't find it, but I found this.
I found this.
Kind of thing.
I think you did, Matt. I'm pretty sure you did. He found Sokka's, space sword.
Yeah.
Who, like, why wouldn't you want to keep that?
Yeah,
exactly. You found Mace Windu, the one who honestly should have killed the Emperor. Like, he was right there.
Yeah.
He came in, stood on business, knew exactly what was going on, and was gonna do exactly. He was the lawful neutral of the Jedi. He is honestly the purest of the Jedi. Not like the purest Jedi, but he is what a Jedi should have been.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Everyone else was kind of leaning one way, leaning the other. Yoda was a little more like, oh, forgive them, blah, blah, blah. And then Obi-Wan was kind of off in his like, oh, we should give Anakin a chance, but, Mace Windu was always like, no. The line.
Mace Windu is the one that's singing "Let's Get Down to Business."
Yeah, Mace Windu was really cool character, and it was very well done, and he really was, in my opinion, the epitome of a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, his theories, if you don't get it right, you will turn to the dark side, and that's honestly how. Like, if you are walking that not to sound all like Christian everyone, but if you're walking that straight and narrow kind of thing, it just takes, and have all this understanding, it just takes a few angry moments to topple over. Anyway, I think that is so cool.
Yep. So Ben will of course pull it.
I just imagine. I don't think you'll be allowed to have the space go. That'd be cool if, like, when you hold an old Jedi's lightsaber, you just for a second can, like, you just see a blue figure, like, watching over you for a second. You know, because you're calling upon them in a way.
That could be kind of cool, but yeah, I don't know.
Kind of like Thor's hammer. You know, it's something that you're like, I can feel Thor. So that'd be at the end of this fight, he just sees just this bald, bad A mother effing character in the corner. Just give him a little nod, and you're like, yeah. Yep. That was the most clean I've ever said that, and I feel uncomfy saying it like that, and that's funny. Anyway, Mace Windu's lightsaber. Sorry, I don't think y'all understand how much I really loved Mace Windu, and I think I hate the third movie so much because he died. Because he saw everything. He knew what was going on, and he was gonna get it done. And Anakin was like, "No, my wife." It's fine. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, go.
So he'll pull Mace Windu's lightsaber and ignite it.
Oh.
And see the beautiful purple, and Kylo Ren will come down with the swing, and Ben will block it, and kind of throw Kylo Ren's lightsaber aside, and then he'll cut Kylo Ren across the chest, and Kylo Ren will kind of step back, and reveal that Kylo Ren is wearing a Beskar chest plate.
Oh, that son of a monkey. So he is a Beskar.
He does.
Inquisitor.
You said that, and I was like, that's funny.
That's why
that is in my notes.
That's why you glossed over it. I'm like, oh, he didn't acknowledge it. Either he ignored me or he full on knew what I said.
No, I have it right here in my notes.
It says Beskar Inquisitor.
It just says Ben slices Ren in the chest, revealing that Ren is wearing Beskar chest plate.
Okay. I'm calling him the Beskar Inquisitor from now on.
Okay.
Are the rods made out of Beskar?
You don't know.
That'd be really funny. Anyway, sorry.
But no, so reveal chest plate of Beskar, and then
that cheating, whatever. It's fine. I think if they can use blasters, it's changed. It's like samurai being all like, you got to use these set of rules, and it's like, I need to win a war. I need to get stuff. I almost said a bad word. I need to get stuff done. You know? Okay, nope. So Beskar armor, Kylo, awesome.
Just the chest plate is what we see. We don't know if he's wearing greaves or anything. We don't know.
That would be so cool, though.
But we do see his, kind of his cloak. He kind of like pulls away, and he undoes his cloak, and we see the Beskar pauldrons, and we see the chest plate shining, and it's painted black, and with I'm imagining like a red stripe with another couple red marks on it.
I don't know why the Sith never used it. They had all the Beskar that they could get from Mandalore, and yet they didn't think to make armor, just in case, especially for hunting down Jedis. Didn't put their whatever. Sorry,
they saw it as weak. Is why
I don't care. And exactly. It's the whole samurai mindset of like, need to be honorable. It's like, no, if I want to stop my lightsaber halfway through a swing and reopen it later, I don't care if that's dishonorable. I'm gonna do it.
Nope,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. It just bugs me. It's like, why don't you just go whoop, whoop?
Yeah,
but that is a jerk move. It is a jerk move.
It's called trickata. It is a thing.
It is frowned upon.
It is definitely frowned upon
by both.
From the Jedi, it's seen as cheating and not the ways of the Jedi, and for the Sith, it's seen as weak.
Pathetic. Anyway,
but yeah, so
full Beskar armor versus not Qui-Gon. Wow.
Versus Ben Solo.
Yep. Love it.
versus squishy flesh.
Squishy.
So that
wizard takes 30 down.
The fight will then again continue, and they'll continue to fight, and we'll cut to Luke. The fight will continue for a moment, and then Ben will use the Force and force push Kylo Ren off the side hard. Like he's using the Force at a power level equal to Kylo Ren when he used the Force inhibitor.
Okay.
Like it's a powerful push, and we just see Kylo Ren go flying off the side.
Will he be? So is this kind of like him overexerting? Is he going to be tired from this? Okay.
Yes. He does the push, and then he just kind of collapses to the ground, breathing super heavy, and he's struggling to get up. But Kylo Ren is not there, so he doesn't have to worry. And we'll cut
Kronk all down the stairs.
No, he clears the stairs.
Clears it?
He clears it.
Wait, you're saying off, the whole thing,
off,
flung him like paper football.
Boo! Yes.
Good gravy, Tim. That's
like Thanos using the Power Stone to punch Captain Marvel.
The best part
of the So yeah, that'll happen, and then we will see Luke, Luke, Mara Jade, and Finn come up to Ben, and they'll help him up, and they'll look, and Luke will go back to the edge, and he'll look over, and he'll see Kylo Ren walking. We'll see Kylo Ren kind of limping away.
Because at the top of this was
the rod. Yes. Okay. So now Kylo Ren has all 6.
Oh. Okay.
So, but yeah, so he'll gather Ben, Finn, and Mara, or Luke will gather Ben, Finn, and Mara, and they'll start to leave. And as they make it to the top, make it out, they're about to board when all of a sudden green laser blasts and their ship explodes, and they're stranded. And we see Kylo Ren fly away in his ship. I want it to be the same ship that we see in the actual movies.
I like that one.
It's a cool ship.
It's a cool ship.
It's kind of got that triangle-ish shape.
Yeah,
and that fits for me.
It fits.
But he'll fly off, and the ship has exploded, and surrounding the group will be a bunch of Uzun. No lightsabers on these ones, except one. One of them has a lightsaber. It's a double-bladed lightsaber, and he stands, and he looks a little bit beefier than the others. And there's 2 dozen Uzun or so.
Guns or no guns?
No guns.
Okay.
Spears.
So they don't really like guns. He's Uzun. They're more.
They're more hand to hand kind of fighting. Okay. That's why the lightsaber fighting comes so naturally to them. And Luke, Luke will be worn out. They'll all be super worn out. Ben is barely able to stand, and it looks like it's probably the end.
I don't think Boomerang's coming back.
And then we'll hear another ship swoop in. Not TIE Fighter, no. But we'll see the Millennium Falcon swoop in and blast the Uzun to bits.
Even the big guy with the double?
Except for the big guy. The big guy with the double will have started to run towards Luke, and Luke will meet him, and they'll have a nice fight. Leia will jump out of the Falcon as it flies over, and she'll do like a roll into the fight, and she will help Luke fight this Uzun. And it takes several lightsaber strikes to this creature before they can kill it. Like it is hardy. It is very tough.
There's something wrong with their do you think that they've I'm imagining they have advanced themselves to be covered in Beskar at this point?
No,
or
they
is
do
whatever
have
metal they bring from
whatever
their.
metal they've brought. Which
So it's not like a
Yeah.
lightsaber isn't going to cut through their arm like their big arms right off the bat. Maybe their smaller arms or what?
it depends on how direct the slice is.
Because if you get the joint,
Mhm.
probably not probably, but
Yeah.
okay, okay. So they are
it is-
pretty. So
they're-
they like
they're
they
bigger.
full on will
And-
like block.
Yeah.
Their
Well, and this guy, his arms, most of them have very, very thin arms, right? Very thin mechanical arms that serve more to be flexible and very quick. This guy,
That's why I imagine most of them have guns.
his is much
Hulkbuster.
bigger. Yes. Yes.
So he's almost like wearing a full on suit
Yeah, pretty much.
because that's what I imagine.
Even his tail is armored part way. Anyway, I'm imagining this short couple minute fight, maybe 30 seconds, and then Luke will stab the creature in the face. And Leia will meet that same strike in the
Right in
back
his
of,
eye.
right in the back of the head, and they'll do like this cool like spinny trick, and the head will flop off. They kind of like, yeah.
You know what would have been cool? I just imagine that just maybe the trope of when they're all surrounded, they all like and then
Maybe.
big guy comes up, he's just in their armor, and Luke is just like because he's
Yeah.
exhausted,
Yeah.
because they probably seen, because you say they're more hand to hand.
Mhm.
I do imagine, like, it'd be funny if if they're surrounded by guns or even just all the spears. They're gonna lose at that point. But then they call their champion to come up to fight Luke, because they all have heard about Luke Skywalker. He is renowned in this galaxy, and this guy probably, I imagine he has like a chest thing full of lightsabers, just sitting there. He's like on a different level than the leader, but he's their bounty hunter sort of thing.
Mhm.
He's just like, well, still though, I like that idea. Beefy.
Beefy.
Maybe this fight would have been started, and Luke's just like, I ain't gonna win this one. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired, boss.
Maybe some of them do have blasters, and they're just
I feel like it would just feel
deflecting.
more.
It would feel better, I think.
I think like if they were surrounded by blasters and they knew they were gonna die, maybe this big guy being prideful and being hand to hand combat kind of thing, he comes in, does the whole point spear, that sort of thing. If you know, you know. And yeah, because we know there's something about a one-on-one fight that people just want to watch.
Yeah.
They know you're going to lose, so why
about
not?
it's about the honor.
And
is what
also
it is.
about the humiliation in a way. Honor for one,
humiliation
for the other.
Yeah.
It's equivalent in exchange.
Yeah.
But then Leia comes in. Nope.
Yeah. I'm imagining Leia, when she comes in, she kind of she cuts off the tip of the tail that maybe has like a stinger or something, a spike.
Yep.
Maybe before that happens, the spike hits Luke in the leg or in the side or something, and
I really would find it funny. Not funny, but it would just be so amazing for Leia to come in and save the day. Because again, I've been imagining, as we all should be while listening to Tim's movie or pitch for this movie, is we need to remember this is supposed to be Carrie Fisher. And I would just love to see her be a Jedi and see her save her brother and not be just some counselor. Jeez. She was meant to be a Jedi like her father before her.
Yeah.
And
she's
a great
she's
leader
a
like her
Skywalker.
mother. So
yeah.
They are both great leaders in both ways. They both are great Jedis, and they are both great politicians.
Yeah.
I don't care what people say. In this version, I've been imagining that Luke can totally stand on his own and talk. He's been a politician because he's been leading the Jedi.
Yeah.
His
he's
dad,
a Jedi
I'm
master.
sorry, Anakin was not meant to be a good leader. He could
No.
lead a small party, but he was not. Obi-Wan's a better leader. I would rather follow Obi-Wan than Anakin.
Oh, absolutely. I will follow Anakin to war. I will follow Obi-Wan in politics.
If it was a small party, Anakin. If it was a big army, Obi-Wan.
Okay, I can see that.
I could see him being the head general and then Anakin being right behind him and leading a party. Anyway, point being, I want to see these two siblings at their full potential. And last movie was Luke doing all that. And I really want to see just the highlight of Leia just coming in, kicking butt, taking names, saving her brother. Because and I want her to just look at him and just like hold it over, because she probably doesn't get that many chances to save Luke. Because, you know, he's Luke Skywalker. He saved her like, what, 3 times in the original 3 movies? Now this time...
She did save the whole group by sending them into the trash compactor.
Yes.
But, no, yeah.
And maybe you can even say this is better than the trash compactor, huh? And he's like, shut up. Just something little sibling stuff. Like, and I know, and for everyone going like, I wish we had more like words. It's like Tim's goal wasn't to make...
I don't want dialogue. I want the story, and then we can fill it with dialogue later.
This could be a thing for someday. That's kind of like me coming in here and throwing notes and getting the juices going. Because also, I just don't want it to be just, and as much as we love Tim, we want also, I know you all want to hear.
This is supposed to be a conversation.
Yeah. So, but this is, anyway, so they beat him. Sorry, I totally went off it.
They all gather on the Millennium Falcon around the holo table, and they just talk, and they'll talk about what they saw and what happened, and they'll compare notes, and they'll start talking about the Force inhibitors and what it means for Kylo Ren to have all of them. Also, all of the Uzun potentially coming through the rift now. Now that these Force inhibitors could power the portal. And they still don't know where it is. They don't know where the rift is. They don't know any of it. And they say, well, we'd better go back to Endor. We need to go talk with the council. And meet with whoever stayed behind. Fly back to Endor. And they find the Jedi Temple in flames.
Oh.
The Jedi Temple that Luke Skywalker spent so much time trying to build and using to train his Padawans and train the other Jedi is now in flames.
Well, good call for getting all them out of there.
Yeah.
Still hurts though.
Yeah, but so they'll land and they'll look around and they'll see a couple. They'll see a few bodies of Uzun, and they will see a couple bodies of not Uzun. Nobody we recognize. But they will encounter a human Jedi, a younger Padawan, who is currently in lightsaber combat with an Uzun. And I'm imagining Rey comes in and, she's probably, out of all of them at the moment, she's probably the most rested and kept up. Her and Leia, and so I want Rey to jump in and save the Padawan and kill the Uzun, and we'll have this Padawan say thank you, and basically he'll explain that the Uzun attacked just after most everyone was able to get off world. There were a handful of them, of the Jedi, who stayed behind to maintain the temple, but most of them have been killed, and this Padawan was one of the last ones standing.
Sorry, I probably should say why I'm getting all like emotional. I just imagined, sorry. This is the only thing, this is something I would want, is maybe there's like a few other Padawans, but I want just redemption for the name. I want them to come up and go, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What shall we do? And now it's not this. Sorry. I just hate that scene so much. And just to have the idea that his son is looked at as a beacon of hope now and actually is going to save them just made me
Okay.
like, man, I'm sorry, guys.
No,
Over here like crying.
I like that. I like that.
Oh,
We'll put
gosh.
that in. It'll be a few Padawans and a few younglings,
Oh.
and maybe a Jedi Knight.
Y'all should have seen Tim's face watching me start like tearing up.
He was, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Like I
don't see the
said,
emotion.
I hated that scene as a kid. I hated that scene. I've only watched the third movie once, and that scene, I hate when I see memes of it. I hate seeing hate seeing his little face. And I love that actor and Hayden Christensen now have pitched together and they're hugging.
They're good.
And
They're
it's
good
and
friends
it's super
and stuff,
cute. But I just, for the life of me, got so emotional when, Rey saves him and they all kind of gather. All these people are coming out from the bushes and they run up to him. And this little boy, mirroring perfectly to that, just goes, "Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What shall we do?" And you're just like, "Ah!" Oh, and the thing is, Anakin doesn't know. No one else knows about that. It's the audience.
The audience would
and we will just go. And I know that anyone watching that I know I just did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I like it.
Anyway,
we'll
have
that. We'll have this Padawan, after they gather. This Padawan will explain that most of the other Jedi did escape, but now the Uzun have destroyed their refuge, one of their safest homes, and so they'll gather and they will make their way off to meet the others on Tanalorr. And on their way, this will be the final scene of the movie. We're coming to the end. We will have the OG crew: Han, Luke, Leia, Chewie. We'll have R2 and 3PO. We'll have those 5 sitting in, or 6 in the cockpit, kind of squished a little bit, but they'll be in there,
just like old times.
And Han will say, "Well, at least it isn't the Death Star again," and then we'll cut. So that's my pitch for Star Wars Episode 8: Shadows of the Force.
I love it. I like where it's going. I like the story that's being made. I like that it's doing a build-up, a very good build-up. And no one had to, kind of like most of them, like no one ever really has to die. They worked on it. They almost did die. And it might be cheesy. Some of you might be mad, but no, people did die. What am I saying? And it might be lame that none of our main cast died, but you know what? It's Tim's story. He can do what he wants.
I don't like killing off main characters. I'm not Brandon Sanderson.
Doesn't matter. The emotion, the growth of all of them so far is good. I will say that I hope to get more of Finn. Because again,
we will.
He is, and I know you, and I know we will, but there was something that I just loved about Finn. And I just felt, and I was so excited to see all these new Jedi come to forth, and then it was just Rey. Not even, and I thought maybe, and I heard, but this is good, and I hope that. So here's my question: I'll just ask just one question about it. So Ben's lightsaber, did he go find it? And
we're not gonna see it. I have plans.
Okay, you have plans. All right.
I have plans.
Okay, so it wasn't forgotten. Tim is just putting it for later. Because there are things that I'm excited for. Because if I get to see a purple cross, I don't care if I'm spoiling it. Because if I get to see a purple crossbar, I'm gonna pee. We've already seen blue, we've seen red, but purple. Oh. So, but we'll see. I'm happy. I'm proud. Thank you, Tim. I will definitely try to get Spider-Man done, but we have a few other things. We're gonna probably hit up either Green Lantern or
Oh,
Multiverse of Madness or Multiverse of Madness. Okay, the thing is, we're gonna watch Green Lantern and go,
that's
"Well,
true.
this isn't that bad compared to some of the other ones we
That's
watched."
true. That's
We
true.
look, we go, "Ugh," now, but we're gonna watch it and go, "Huh."
Uh-huh.
Well, I am excited. I've been wanting to do Green Lantern for a fat minute, so we'll decide. So it's either Multiverse of Madness next week or Green Lantern. I'm really thinking Green Lantern because I think Tim, you want to try watching WandaVision first or nah?
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna watch WandaVision.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll leave it up to you guys. But again, if you guys ever want to hear from us, we want to hear from you, and we'd love to get any emails, any preferably nice stuff and compliments, what you like about the show, and constructive criticism would be nice.
Yeah.
Again, we'd love to hear a bunch of what you guys like. But yeah, this was a fun week, and it was good.
Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed my pitch for this. Again, if you disagreed with some of the things, let us know in a constructive, helpful way. Don't be rude about it, but let us know what you liked, what you didn't like.
We love opinions, and it's funny. I've been getting a lot of comments because I've been doing more shorts, and if you notice, I usually like every single comment, regardless of whether you agree with us or not, because we want this show to be a show about opinions. We want the juices to be flowing.
Yeah.
Think about fun stuff. Yeah, we're giving our ideas, and we get to make the final say, but we get more interactions with you guys. We'll definitely share your guys' thoughts. Again, you give us stories, we'll start doing them. I really want someday to do an episode where we read off your guys' ideas someday.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so much fun. Someday.
I would love it. But until then, and until next time, may the force be with you, and we will see you later, pitches.
Oh, that was perfect.